So lesson 16 has much of the same stuff as lesson 15. So if you and your sub are um, thinking that you can do these without watching the video, that's totally okay. But again, I will be doing every single problem for this lesson so that you have the help when you need it. So we have two different linear equations, one in a description, one in the table. We need to find the difference between the initial values for both number 1 and 2. And so we've got a diver swimming in the ocean, sunken ship 250 feet below sea level, began coming back to the surface at 3 feet per second. I think we had this one on the other worksheet actually. So if I wrote an equation for this, the person would be coming back up, so a positive 3, for the rate of change or the slope. And they're down below sea level, so that's going to be a negative 250. And here on the right, we have this is going down by 10 as we get closer to 0, so just one more move of going down by 10 gets me to 0. And it looks like this one is going by, if we go up toward the top of the table, by negative 4. And so negative 28 minus 4 is negative 32. And so I should have done those in blue. Oh well. We'll talk about the initial value for the diver and the table now. So we have negative 250 and negative 32. If I was to put those on a number line, the way that would look is those are both on the same side of 0. So I need to subtract 32 from negative 250 to see how far it is between them. And so 250 minus 32 is going to be 218. So the difference between the initial values of those two is 218. Let's take a look at the next one. We've got our green one. I'll remember to do different colors this time. So my table is going to come up. It's going by 2. So the next one up here is going to be 2. Then it's going to go to 0. And on the other side, we are going by 4. So I'm working backwards on the table. So as I go up the table, I'm adding 4 each time. So I've got to make 2 more moves. Adding 4 puts me at negative 5. And then adding 4 again puts me at negative 1. So our initial value here is negative 1. And on the description here, Rockin' Tunes, $45 membership, $5 per CD. So our equation would look like every CD is $5, so that's a rate of change. Membership is $45. That's our initial value. So we have an initial value of negative 1 and 45. Those are on opposite sides of 0. So I do have to make the jump of 1 here and then 45 more. So 1 and 45 together is going to make 46. So the difference in the initial values there is 46. And I need to take care of a message really quick. Pause this, I'll be right back. Okay, back with number 3. We've got Marvin and his friends wanted to go fishing on Clear Lake, so they rented a boat for the day. The daily boat rental is $5 each hour, and it's $30 for the rental. So we are going to have an equation for this one that looks like y equals 5x plus 30. And we're supposed to find the difference in the rate of change of these. So for the table, we are going to just be looking at what the rate of change is. And so it looks like this is going up by 6 each time, while this one is going up by 3 each time. So our rate of change, or our slope there, is 6 over 3 or 2. And our rate of change in the other one, the green one, is 5. And so the difference between 5 and 2, 5 minus 2, is 3. And for number 4, we've got Monday, Carl put $20 in her lunch account each day. Lunch costs her $1.50. So money is coming out of the account each day. So negative 150. X, she started with 20 bucks in there, so plus 20. And we're looking at rate of change for this one as well. So on the equation here, rate of change is 1/2. So we need to find the difference between 1/2 and 1.5, which is 1 and 1/2. So both on the same side of 0. And the difference between 1/2 and 1.5 is just 1. That's it for 1 through 4. I'll be back with the next ones in just a moment. Feel free to pause if you need to work through any of these. Okay, number 5. We're supposed to find the difference in the initial values of this one and the next one. So initial value, we're going to have to find it in the table, which is going to be a little bit tough because it's going by 3s. There's a couple ways to do it. Let's take a look and see how we want to approach this one. So if we were to look at this one and say this is changing by 6, and this is changing by 3, one way to do it would be to do it how we've done in some other ones where we say the slope is 6/3 or 2. And then use the equation to figure out what the y-intercept is. Another way to do it would be to extend the table up, but using 2 as our slope instead of 6/3, because then we can make it land on 0 instead of skipping over 0. So this time I'm going to demonstrate that way of doing it. So I'm just going to write our table over here on the side because I'm going to run out of room on the left there if I do it there. So if my numbers are 8 and 10, and my slope is 2, that means for every 1 that I go down over here, I go down 2 over here. So 8 goes with 7, down by 1, down by 2. 6 and 6, down by 1, down by 2. 5, that's going to be 4, down by 1, down by 2. So 4 and 2, 3 and 0. Down by 1 again puts me at 2. Down by 2 puts me at negative 2. Down by 1 puts me at 1. Down by 2 puts me at negative 4. And lastly, down by 1 puts me at 0, finally giving me the y-intercept of negative 6. The other way to do it is to, like we've done before, pick a pair of points, put them into the equation y equals mx plus b, and solve for b. But you could also extend the table if you're careful about how you use the slope on this one. So the initial value of that one is going to be negative 6. And then the initial value of the blue one is 4. So thinking about those on our number line, negative 6 is over there. 0 is right there. 4 is there. So the distance here is 6 and 4 more. So 6 and 4 together makes 10. That table's a little bit tough, but we can figure it out. Okay, number 6, we have the initial value again. So with the table, it's going to be easy to land on 0 here. So by 2 is going to put me at 2. 2 more is going to put me at 0. Down by 4. So negative 9 plus, it's going by negative 4. So if I go the other way, but going up, it's going by 4. So that by 4 is going to put me at negative 5. And then by 4 more is going to put me at negative 1. And so our y-intercept, or our initial value for the green one, is negative 1. And on the graph, we see that our initial value is negative 1 also. So they are both negative 1. so the difference between them is 0. Alrighty, number 7. We're looking for the initial value on this one, and number 8, we're looking for the rate of change. So initial values here, for the green one we have -5, and for the blue one we have -4. Be careful, I'm getting a phone call. Okay, lots of interruptions this morning. Okay, so we've got, where was I at? Number 7, sorry guys. -5 and -4. So just to make sense of it with our number line again, if I put 0 there, -5 would be over here somewhere, -4 would be on the same side of 0. So it's just a jump of 1. So the difference between those initial values is just 1. For the next one, rates of change. The rate of change on the graph, it looks like I could get a perfect point right here and right here. So down 2 and to the right 1. So a slope of -2 over 1, or rate of change of -2 over 1. For the green one, and for the blue one, a rate of change of -3. So we're looking for the difference between -2 and -3. And so they are on the same side of 0. So a jump of 1 again. Alrighty, so that's going to be it for 5, 6, 7, and 8. On to the next. Okay, number 9. We've got to be looking for the difference in the initial values. So the initial value of the graph right there is 50. And if we look at the diver is back again. We're used to this one by now. This one was also in number 1, so the equation should be pretty familiar to us. The equation would be 3x minus 250. And so our initial value for that one is going to be 250. So we need to look for the difference between -250 and 50. So again, swinging our number line here. We got a 0, -250, and 50. So you got a big jump to make there, 250 and then 50 more. Makes the difference between them a total of 300. Okay, next, initial values for number 10. We have an initial value of 48 on our graph. And Mandy has a 150-gallon fish tank. She is emptying it to clean it. Pump removes 5 gallons per minute. So let's run an equation for that really quick. The pump is removing 5 gallons per minute, so that's a rate of change of -5. And it's starting with 150 gallons in the tank, so positive 150. And so our initial value for this one is 150. Our initial value for the other one is 48. So those are both on the same side of 0. So 150 minus 48 is 102 for number 10. We're looking for the difference between the initial values. So for the graph, initial value is -2. And for the equation, initial value is -2. They're the same, so there is no difference between those two. Alrighty, number 12. We have a swimming pool containing 1,600 gallons of water is emptied at a rate of 300 gallons every 2 hours. And we're trying to find the difference in the rate of change of these things. And if you remember from the previous one where we did this, 300 gallons every 2 hours is not the rate of change. It's 150 gallons every 1 hour. That's how we get our rate of change. And so our rate of change for that one is 150. And our rate of change for the blue one is going to be 25. So again, 150 and 25 are on the same side of 0, and 150 minus 25 is 125. Okay. Back with the last page of this wonderful thing. We have difference in rates of change for this one. So we'll start with the table. We're increasing by 6 on the right and increasing by 3 on the left. So we've got 6 over 3, or 2 is our rate of change. And for the equation, it is negative 4. Those are going to be on opposite sides of 0. So we have to be careful with the difference between them, because the difference is going to be 4 plus 2 more is going to be a total of 6. And number 14, we're asked about the rates of change. So the difference here is going to be negative 4. And 2. So negative 4 over 2, which is the same as negative 2. And for the graph, got a point here and a point here. So down 1, to the right 4, so negative 1, 4. So negative 1/4 for the graph. And so those are both negative. They are on the same side of 0. So we've got 0, negative 1/4, negative 2. So we just need to subtract these from each other. So 2 minus 1/4 is going to be 1 3/4 for the difference between them. Okay, number 15. We've got difference between initial values. So our initial value here is 20. And for the blue one, our initial value is going to be 10. So that one's pretty easy. 20 minus 10 is 10. And then 16, difference between initial values again. So we have 25 on our graph and 16 in our equation. So 25 minus 16 is 9. Okay, that's going to be it for this one. I hope this is helpful, and I hope you have an awesome day.